Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nikki's Life. Guess how many times I filmed this video? Four times! It's so annoying. I'm here now though. The first couple times I filmed this, I just filmed it as a Q&A, but I am so busy, there's so much happening in my life right now, that I decided that I would film this Q&A while I did my makeup this time. Okay, so I always start my makeup routine with my foundation. I'm a foundation first kind of girl. I use the Pro Filter by Fenty Beauty. I actually used to not wear foundation because I was never able to find a shade that was fair enough for me. But with Fenty Beauty, during most of the year, I'm shade 110, which is the second to the lightest shade. But during the summer, I am 120. So today we're using 120. And I have my little tiny peanut butter and jelly palette because it's the only palette I own with a mirror apparently. So while I am blending that in, answer my first question. My first question was from Jacqueline. Hey girl! And she wanted to know what I was most excited about moving to Florida. There's so many things. I'm so excited to be moving to Florida. The thing I'm most excited about though is the weather. And it is winter like 6 to 8 months of the year here. It's just really cold. And we get tons of snow, and I actually don't mind the snow, but it just is, it's hard to have it be cold that long during the year. It's just hard to do stuff outside when it's that cold. Also, side note, this foundation oxidizes, so when I first put it on, it probably looked too light, but you can tell it's already darkening. So if you get it, keep that in mind. I'd say it's a pretty like medium coverage foundation, which I like. The next thing I'm gonna do is bronzer. I broke this palette and then I fixed it and then I broke it again. But I really like this palette. It's the Butter collection from Physicians Formula. I'm gonna go ahead and use the bronzer as my contour, and up there and down here and over here and over here, because as previously stated, I rival Snow White on a regular basis. So let's warm it up a little bit. I'm also really looking forward to being close to Disney World. I love Disney World so much. It's my favorite place to be in the universe, well, that I've been to yet. And it'll be so nice to be closer to it. I'm also gonna use the blush in that same palette. So it's this one. The bronzer is called Bronzer in Deep Bronzer. Good job, Physicians Formula, good job. The blush is called Vintage Rouge. Vintage Rouge? It's pretty. And I'm gonna do that big old fake smile that we do when we put blush on. I like a pretty strong blush, probably because I'm so pale. Maybe not that strong. What inspired me to make skirts? So, my husband and I got married pretty young. We were 20 when we got married, and we didn't have anything. We were super poor. And I was always really into like vintage style and vintage fashion. Fashion has always been the way I've expressed myself. I wore like 1970s style wrap pants to school in middle school. The wrap pants are the ones that like, they literally wrap onto you. Like, Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and this girl who was like more popular than me, but for some reason was still my friend anyway, she like pulled me aside and she was like, Nikki, I gotta tell you something. People are calling you a hippie. And I was so confused. I was like, okay, what's wrong with that? But in small town Idaho in the early 2000s, it was not cool to be a hippie. So she was just looking out for me, you know. Good friend. So I always really liked vintage style and vintage fashion. I'm gonna use the NYX, is it the glitter primer? No, it's the pigment primer on my eyes. And when we first got married, we got married in 2012. That's when companies like Pinup Girl Clothing and Unique Vintage first kind of were becoming big. And I found them just through the interwebs, and I was so in love with pinup girl clothing. I wanted to own every piece so bad, but definitely couldn't afford it. And I was kind of bummed about it, and one day I was just like, what if I just taught myself how to sew? Like, it can't be that hard to sew. And I was mostly into the circle skirt, so I was like, it can't be that hard to sew a skirt. I'm also pretty tall, and I used to wear my skirts pretty long, like below my knee, and it was really hard to find skirts that long, so I was like, I'll just make them myself. Can't be that hard. I'm going back in with that same bronzer, and I'm going to do it on like the outer corners of my lid with this brush. Let's use this. So I had to teach myself how to sew. My mom gave me her like old sewing machine, and it was a long process, but eventually I learned how to sew. Just like, I started with infinity scarves because those aren't that bad. And they're really, actually really good if you're trying to teach yourself how to sew. I totally recommend starting with infinity scarves because they're just tricky enough that you like really have to figure out what you're doing, but they're not that hard. And anyway, so I learned how to do that, and then I asked my husband for help to figure out the circle skirt pattern because there's a fair amount of math involved, and at the time I was very new to sewing and I've always sucked at math, so I was like, I don't want to do this. So my husband helped me figure that out and helped me make the pattern, and eventually I knew how to make circle skirts. Okay, I'm going to take just my finger like a professional and go into this highlighter that's super broken. It's called Galactic, and if I can ever find it in an individual size container, I'll totally buy it, but I haven't found it yet. But it's really pretty. So I'm just putting that all over my finger. I'm just gonna do the inner corners and then I'll blend it out. This is like my everyday makeup routine right now. Anyway, so I figured out how to make circle skirts and I was pretty happy with them. And at the time, I like really hated the job that I had. Like really hated the job that I had. And I just wanted out of it. And I heard about Etsy and I thought, that can't be that hard. Like, I can do that. I know how the internet works. Like, surely I can do this. So I started selling them online, and I started with, my first 4 designs were the Harry Potter ones, because I always really loved fandom stuff, and fandom clothing is like a pretty recent thing. So back then there was like nothing for adults, really. So I did my first 4 designs, which were the Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw ones. And they weren't like immediately really popular, but they were immediately more popular than I expected. And so I started selling them, and it was great. I did get a new job like a couple months into that, and I really loved that job. And I worked both the store and that job for 2 years, and then I quit to do this full time. And it's been amazing. I love it so much. Sometimes I do eyeliner. I don't feel like it today, so I'm not gonna. But I'm going to take the Extra Creamy in my peanut butter palette, that's this one, and use it as the highlight here, here, and here. And then I'll do my mascara, which is the They're Real Mascara by Benefit. Okay, my last question was asked by Tallahassee on Instagram. Hi. And she wants to know when I will reopen. So it's a little bit up in the air because moving to Florida is just kind of this big adventure that we're doing. Long story short, I want to reopen as soon as I possibly can, because obviously the longer I'm not open, the longer I go without an income, which is not ideal. I'm really hoping to be open by the end of August. That would be ideal. Yo, it's real hard to talk while you put mascara on. Like, real hard. Had to stop recording because I could not put mascara on while I was talking. But anyway, I hope to open at the end of August. That is my goal. If I can open sooner than that, I definitely will. But the best way to stay updated is just to keep checking in on Instagram. I've definitely had people complain in the past when they haven't been notified when like the shop is gonna close or changes are gonna happen, whatever. It's not my fault if Instagram doesn't show you my posts. I'm sorry, the algorithm does not favor me. I don't have enough followers for the algorithm to care. So if you want to be sure that you are updated, you want to turn on my notifications for when I post, and then you'll be updated. Or check my story, because I try to be active on there. I try. Does my best. I'm doing my best. This palette that I showed you, the bronzer and the blush one, also comes with a perfume, which when I bought it, I was like, I don't care about that. But it actually smells super good. Can you see it? I don't think you can see it. It's the Butter Paradise perfume by Physicians Formula. And it smells kind of like sunscreen. And like coconut. It smells really, really good. Okay, I'm trying to decide if I want to wear lipstick today. Okay, after a lot of deliberation, I decided against wearing lipstick because I'm wearing this like really, really bright dress. Let me scoot back so you can see how cute it is. It's really cute. It's got like fringe. Is that word? Yeah, fringe there and here. It's got a crab on it. I actually, fun fact, I owned this dress for like 2 months before I noticed that there was a crab on it. I just thought it was like a fun like beachy print, but it's actually got a crab on it. Anyway, so I'm not gonna wear lipstick because I feel like this dress is loud enough as it is. I don't need the added like color on my lips. I don't know. So the last step in my makeup routine is to set my face. I don't do this most of the year. Maybe I will in Florida, but here I only do it if it's really hot outside. It's pretty hot today. So I'm using the matte finish setting spray by NYX. I also have no idea how much of that I'm supposed to use, so if that was way too much, let me know. I'm just gonna do one more coat of mascara. I feel like my eyelashes are one of my best features. Although, you wanna know something extremely annoying? Like a month ago, over here, I'm sure you can tell, do you see this like little section of eyelashes that are shorter? They just broke. I was so mad, and it took me a while to figure out what did it, and I'm like 99% sure it was, hold on, let me find it. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure that it was this mascara. This is a Senegence mascara. It's waterproof, and most of the time I don't wear waterproof mascara, and I will say, this is amazing. It doesn't budge unless you want it to. But I wore it for like a month, and then that happened, and I've never had that happen before, so I think it was this. Do not recommend. Senegence is the company that makes lip scents. I would recommend lip scents. I own like 20 different colors, but I think the company is kind of sketchy, and their mascara sucks, so just keeping it real over here on Nikki's Life YouTube channel. Anyway, those are all the questions that I had, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to follow us to Florida, please subscribe. You can follow me at Nikki Lynn Murray on Instagram. And I'll probably be posting there a lot over the next couple of weeks. But anyway, thank you so much to the people that submitted questions. I had fun answering them. If you have any other questions, you can DM me on Instagram or leave them in the comments below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!